and regionally and locally, it's extraordinarily important for us to have our feet firmly planted across all of these verticals. Already, we're in the music business, the label side of the recorded side of the business, publishing, distribution, we're the largest brands business in music, fandom, fan tech, merchandising, the whole. But all of it has artists in the center. We've been in the film business for a long time in the past, and it was time to come back now. Because storytelling and music are intrinsically connected the world over. It always has been. Specifically for India, it is all the more. We all know that our storytelling is led by music. If you go back in history, if you see what's happening, every single film, it's first the song and then the film. So there was no way for a global leader in music-led entertainment and music not to be here in the now when Indian storytelling and South Asian storytelling has found new voices in global audiences. So it was absolutely the right time. You know, Adam used to ask me for many years and, you know, leadership before that, why don't we enter films? And I'll tell you the truth, which probably I've not said on stage before, is that we wanted to be successful in the one piece of music in India that nobody has ever done before successfully, which is everything else but the film business. And in the last 8 years, we built that business to a point where, in Adam's speech, he alluded to Hanuman Kind, Suraj, where we needed one Indian song to break every possible chart position in the world. And the businesses that come with it across multiple languages, multiple genres, for us to be in a position to say, we are good enough to now do the film business differently than everyone else, more efficiently, and with partners who truly are creative people. A lot of the film business here, and we have friends, a lot of it is business. With these two guys, and I've known them a very, very long time, it's not just about the business. It's also about the business. The story, the emotion. Both Farhan and Ritesh, they wear different hats when they come together. But what comes, and it's 25 years of a track record which will show you that storytelling and music is at the heart of everything that they do. And for us not to be partners would be foolish. So in a very large country with a lot of people to choose from, I'm grateful to these two and my leadership both here and overseas for us to come together at this time, which is probably the time when the next 5 years of our industry are being written, both here and globally. So there was no option. Being in this business was no longer should we, shouldn't we. It was a question of when and with who. And I'm very grateful for how it's panned out.
There's something really beautiful in what you said. I want to take that song first, film later. And I think songs become the photographs, the memories that we remember the movies with. But you've also seen in the last 15 years so much change, so much evolve. 15 years ago, the songs might not be the same songs that we croon to, we listen to anymore. And the same thing with the movies. So now, your role, your involvement, what would it be as representative of UMG in the future of Excel Entertainment?
So apart from you know, being the new guy on their board, and we've already been friends and partners a long time, Ritesh and I have probably 20-year-old history where every few months he would call me and said, I want that song. That's been a relationship for the greater part of my life. And it was at that friends and family rate and 3 discounts later, right? So we have an old history of being friends in the business. But I think more than anything else, there are 2 parts to this. One is that our ability to create, co-create, and help create a new sonic dimension to the music of films is something that we do believe that we can play a humongous part on. Because, and this is something everyone knows, most of the film music that you hear started by being completely non-film music. It was written by artists in some studio somewhere, and then they went and stood in line, said, producer saab, mujhe allow karo, and that's how it became film music. To be involved at that level, at that stage, to be able to say, we can have a part in that, right? So if Hanuman Kind song, Big Dogs, broke the world charts, it's time for some of that music and that kind of sonicality to be in our films. And straight down, hands up, Excel is going to be the home of that. And Excel Music will undoubtedly be the home of that. The second thing is, and this has been my personal ambition forever, and I've eaten my boss's head and everyone else, music storytelling in India is a big thing. Not the way film storytelling is, but music storytelling. Stories about our culture, stories about who we are as a country, stories about the most famous, the musician Javed Akhtar, people who have legacy written because of who they are as musicians, from RD, SD, you name it. Those stories aren't yet told. I mean, someone needs to tell them in the way that the world understands, in a language that the world understands. And I do believe, again, that this is the home of that kind of storytelling for the future. Recently we did this really cool thing on Kishore Kumar where we reinvented his music through 11 songs. Now we did that as a music company who doesn't understand the first thing about storytelling in that generation. I do believe with us now together in Excel Entertainment as partners, we'll be able to tell those stories of our culture, of our music, of our lineage, of our heritage in a way that the world hasn't seen before. So I do believe that these two things are going to greatly contribute, and my teams, and it's our teams now, of course, to sort of work together to, achieve that ambition.
You spoke about musical storytelling. We've got a really brilliant storyteller here in Farhan Akhtar. But also Javed Saab, you mentioned stories of SD and RD. He used to host a show. I remember watching that show where I got to know so much about iconic movies like Sholay, iconic musicians like Kishore Kumar. And since you're also talking about talents, and I'm sure that a lot of people in the room, sometimes you just need to show them the writing on the wall. It's easier to read. Universal Music Group, Adam, Taylor Swift, Sting, Coldplay, and closer home you got A.R. Rahman, Arijit Singh, all these wonderful names, one of the world's most prestigious music labels, music-led entertainment companies. Adam, can you please give us an idea of how UMG thinks about South Asia, specifically India, from a growth and investment POV?
Sure, thank you very much. So look, India has the world's largest population, as everyone knows, with an incredibly rich history. And it also has incredible diversity as well across one country, which I learn more and more about every time I come here. But what this really means is that India has within it literally billions of stories to be told. And those aren't stories that just matter here in this country, but the rest of the world is interested as well. And there's an audience for these stories everywhere. And that's what is very, very exciting for us. So when you pair all these stories with a digital ecosystem that continues to develop here in India and globally, I think there's no future that doesn't have India as one of the top 10 music markets in the world. And I think for Universal, we're matching that growth outlook with an increased investment. And, we always want to stay one step ahead of the market. And, we're thrilled to make this historic announcement with Excel, and we're very excited to take these stories to the rest of the world.
I have sensed palpable excitement in the room with everyone, not just you gentlemen on the stage, but just generally talking to people who are with Excel, talking to people who are with UMG. So my next question, Adam, why Excel Entertainment when you chose to spearhead this growth in India?
Good question. Devraj and I have been talking about the Bollywood space for a long time, and I think the most important thing when you partner with another organization is you have a shared vision and the cultures are a good fit. Otherwise, it will not work. And so I think first and foremost, we found partners who we agree with in terms of a long-term vision and also the long-term opportunity for what they're doing and how we can help magnify and expand it globally. I think when you can make a marriage of their incredible cinematic storytelling and our A&R skills from an artist and repertoire standpoint, we think it's going to be very, very successful, and we look forward to seeing what it can produce in the years to come.
Listening to these conversations, we are talking about the history, the future. Ritesh, we live in a world where the question that everyone asks is, can you hold my attention for 30 seconds? And 25 years starting off from 2001, I still tell my friends, that film is over 3 hours long.
3 hours.
Buzzzooka is over 3, there you go. The exact precise timing. And yet it holds your attention. But Excel has navigated cinema, streaming, and now deeper global collaboration. So what does, again, long-term creative sustainability mean to you in what is now a rapidly changing landscape?
I think, personally, I think for sustainability, for the future, I think the thing being patient and just following your inner voice, being honest to what you believe in. And I think that came to both of us, I can say, is with Dil Chahta Hai, because when we started that film, we honestly didn't know at that time when we were 26, 27 years old, that whether that music will work. I mean, I'm going to say it out today, that at that point, when Shankar Hassan Loy, Javed Uncle, Farhan, we all collaborated and did that music album, there were nobody believing in it. They never thought this music, and I can one point. So we never knew where it was going. We never knew that whether this story would travel, whether it would be global, whether it would work theatrically. I mean, completely had no idea. But I think what we believed in, that's what we did, and we just, that was the world we understood. So you stayed true to that. I think so if you follow that, and that lesson you learn, is because things will keep evolving, audiences will evolve, platforms will come in, change, grow. But I think the thing is just follow your instinct and be there and you'll be fine.
You're right, because, I mean, maybe call it preparation, but while coming here on my way, I was still listening to the same soundtrack. I just wanted to get the words right. I just wanted to make sure that I got the sur right, so that Javed Saab is not offended कि गलत सुर में गाया है. But Dil Chahta Hai, when it came out in 2001, August, if I'm correct, everyone was taken aback. And that has been the hallmark of Excel Entertainment, because you guys have created the trends, everyone follows. And now we are here 25 years later. But if I ask you, now with this partnership, with the next decade, how do you imagine it? What excites you more? The scale, the possibility of deeper, more emotionally rooted storytelling?
I think scale, if you ask me, is meaningful only if it's on some solid foundation of emotion. So you can, it is not either or, right? You need to have that strong foundation to give it scale. So I think, again, if you give an opportunity for, like I said earlier, to your creators, to your partners, collaborators, to just stick to their instinct and their inner voice, scale will follow. And that's what I think has been our core belief. And with UMG coming now for the next 25 years, we'll continue believing, following that path. Because I think it's worked for us to just, like I said, always I say this, if you believe in something and you're honest to it, then you'll be able to convince 1 billion people to follow what you believe in. So I think, again, rooted to that.
Farhan, your company with Ritesh, Excel Entertainment, your family, I think you guys are cinema for us. Whether it's your dad's work, whether it's your work, whether it's your company's work, you lived cinema and worn so many hats. Director, actor, writer, musician. So when music and story align, and it's so personal, right? Something intangible happens. How do you recognize that moment creatively when a film's sound becomes its soul?
Thank you. It's difficult to really put your finger on that one moment when something like that happens. But I've grown up watching a lot of film, and for me, like you said, I think the thing that stays with you as a reminder of the film, of the experience that you've had, of what you enjoyed in the film, what it meant to you, what it did to you, is experienced every single time you hear the song. The songs of that movie, the music of that movie remains with you as, like I said earlier, like it's messenger. So to me, music in film is an integral part of the Indian film experience. I feel it's something, unfortunately, over time has somehow taken a little bit of a backseat. And I'm really very confident and hopeful that through this now incredibly new, strong partnership that we are creating with Universal Music Group, that we want to make that front and center again. You know, there is a pool of talent that they have, there is an understanding of music that they have, an understanding of sound that they have that I want to learn from, and also tap into, you know, to be able to bring music back into films in a kind of way that we grew up enjoying them. Like even when you talk about films like Dil Chahta Hai 25 years ago, the music was really, really a part of the narrative of that film. It wasn't that the story stopped and the song started. And that kind of storytelling, I believe, is inherently Indian specific. That's what we're really, really good at. And sometimes I feel that we've forgotten how to do that in lieu of wanting to do something that the world is just doing and we want to like compete with that. But what really registers with the world, and you can take this in any industry, film industry around the world, what resonates with the globe, with the world audience, is when they do stuff that is true to them. That's what they like to see. So that's what I'm really hopeful for, you know, with this partnership that we have. And I'm, again, just thank you again to Kostab. I didn't say that earlier when I was here, but to Kostab for really, really being a driver of and his belief in making this happen. And of course to partner with Devraj, with Adam, it's going to be an incredible journey.
I just hope I'm not going to get into trouble. Thanks to Dil Chahta Hai and all these road trips that people started taking from Mumbai to Goa, the Maharashtra government also decided that we need a better road now from Mumbai to Goa. It's around that time, right? But since we're talking about roads less taken, now as Farhan, as Indian stories, they're becoming more global. They are traveling further. Do you feel that there is a greater responsibility to protect, and that is something that I've always heard from you, emotional honesty? Even if it means got to resist some of the global expectations.
I actually think I kind of touched upon this in what I just spoke earlier. I think people recognize, audiences the world over, recognize honesty, they recognize integrity, they recognize purpose in your work. And the fact that you are not pandering, that you are not selling your soul to try and entertain them in some kind of way that is not originally you. So it's just that, and you need people, excuse me, you need people through your journey because nothing happens alone. You cannot do it alone. You need people to be there. I mean, apart from supporting what it is that you fantasize or dream about, but for you to be able to support them, because like Ritesh mentioned, the syntax of cinema is changing, the audiences are changing, a younger audience wants a different kind of film. You know, and there's an understanding that we have, and a filmmaker who today is 25, at how old we were when we did Dil Chahta Hai, has a very different understanding of the world and a very different experience of the world. We grew up without social media, we grew up without, you know, technology being so easily accessible, so we could take our time and tell stories. Today's world maybe wants to do it differently, and that is something that we need to adapt to and need to be able to understand and provide them with tools, provide them with the kind of support that they can be honest in what it is that they are trying to say, and they can show integrity in their work. So that's really what we hope to do. And again, I feel that this, what's happened here today, is going to be a massive, massive step in our journey towards that.
Two really big institutions coming together, Excel Entertainment and the Universal Music Group, but you also can sense the bond here on stage, because you saw Ritesh, you saw Devraj, the way they look at Kaustubh, right? But Kaustubh, I have to ask you this next question, because the government of Maharashtra, I mean, we keep saying that Tinseltown, the city of dreams, Mumbai, and now this massive collaboration between these two, UMG, Excel. What role did the government of Maharashtra play in facilitating this partnership, and what does it mean for our state now?
I don't know, I'm just, I'm so happy today, to be very, very honest. And before I make a quick comment on this very profound question, I am Dada, raised in Andheri, and who finished his engineering in 2000, and in 2001 got rejected to go to the US for some reason. And life was really, really at a standstill. And this movie Dil Chahta Hai really changed everything for me. Because it gave me a new purpose in a very different way to look at life and to look at challenges and to look at, so obviously like you and like many of us, we have been so inspired by this movie. And the second thing, just taking a leaf out of what Farhan just mentioned, which is so pertinent and important, because wherever Devendraji goes, this is, and when he addresses business audiences, this is a statement, it's a standard statement he makes, and he says that a profound question generally confronts corporates, which is how to do what is right and yet remain profitable. And a similar profound question entangles political leadership, how to do what is right and yet get elected. So I think the fact of the matter is that coming together of UMG and Excel, two amazing entities, one a global leader, another a homegrown, Mumbai-born, amazing work, body of work, enshrined in delivering great content with courage and conviction on the plank of integrity and credibility. I think for us as a government, our role was really very limited, because all we needed to do is just say yes and enable them, and enable their vision, and enable their aspiration, because that's what government tends to do. And many people, use this statement that, government should bless. When I was growing up, my mother taught me that the only person who blesses is God. We don't have the right to bless anything, we just have to enable things. And I think that's what we ended up doing. We just enabled, we heard the story, the conversation, as the Honorable Chief Minister said, started long before, and then during the, during waves it came to the fore, and government, basically government of Maharashtra, since Excel was Mumbai, was active in enabling whatever we could do in order to make this happen, because it's a sense of confidence that the state government, the national leadership, the state leadership needs to give foreign companies. And they need to believe that there is an enabling policy environment, the ecosystem, and government will do what is necessary in order to make this successful, because this is hard-earned stakeholders' money which gets invested in our state, and we need to give them the confidence. So I believe that I loved this journey. It was, I wouldn't say arduous, but it was long, but I'm very, very happy at the outcome. And Government of Maharashtra, Government of India, all collaborated together to make this happen. So this is truly, truly a historic moment. And I'm so happy that UMG chose Excel, because their body of work speaks for itself.
Even Kaustubh spoke about Dil Chahta Hai. I don't know if you're ever going to get sick and tired of people coming up to you and, speaking about Dil Chahta Hai. But as a fan, as just a regular audience member going, watching movies, back in 2001, Farhan, Dil Chahta Hai kind of reset movie making in this country. Everything changed after Dil Chahta Hai. It was a page turner. And now we hear in 2026, Kaustubh, this deal. Already, I've been on social media, I check all the tweets. People are very excited because you got two powerhouses coming together. Once again, Excel Entertainment is setting a trend. Do you see more global media and music companies now wanting to set up pace, expand in Mumbai after this announcement?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think this is a stepping stone, because when foreign companies, foreign studios are going to look at India now, they look at through the lens of how UMG evaluated it, and that the global standards are being matched. And obviously India is a great opportunity. There is no doubt about it. And as a policymaker, imagine the opportunity that gets created for the creative industry. Technicians, creators, the jobs, the opportunities, the ability to participate in global content creation, your long-lasting dream of being there at the top with great content. All of this gets enabled. And very interestingly, a large amount of studios and foreign companies are already talking to us. They have been in conversation, and I feel very confident that more will follow. I think today's moment is UMG Excel's moment. I think they have set the tone. I would call this the Maruti Suzuki moment in auto industry, because what that investment did to the country is that it changed everything that we know about car making. And then we created the internal talent and the ecosystem. And today we are the world's largest auto hub in the world. So that is what is going to eventually happen. This is the stepping stone for a lot more to come.
Let me just take inspiration from what you have said, Kaustav, and I'm going to ask this to anyone who wants to jump in and answer. The stepping stone, this is the moment. UMG and Excel partnering, and 25 years ago you started with your first film, 25 years later, here we are for this moment. Say we're in 2051, Farhan, 25 years from now. This moment will be remembered because this started it all. What do you see? How do you see the world change after this, at least for India, in terms of partnerships?
I think Kaustav has actually answered that really, really well. I feel when you ask me about 2051, what we should look back and think of, we should actually be thinking of that in 2051, that this moment should be made to matter. That's what it should be. We now have a responsibility to make sure that in 2051 that this moment matters. So this is really, I mean, it's a starting point. We've had a wonderful journey of 25 years leading up to this point. But this is really like a reset button, getting going again with completely renewed vigor, with new strength, and with an aligned creative vision with people who we absolutely trust and want to create better content with. So that's really how I see it.
Adam, Dave, you...
Of course, you must.
Sure, ma'am. Can we pass a microphone?
But ma'am, I'm not in the docks.
I think, ma'am, we spoke about musical storytelling, something that Devraj touched upon, something that even Farhan touched upon, and that is what we are hoping for. Dev, UMG coming back to this business after a hiatus. Adam, it's a huge step. Same question that I asked Farhan, say 20 years, 25 years from now, would you envisage what this world now would look like with the kind of partnership that you're seeing?
I think when you think about what we've done over the last 8 years or so, and the growth of the music industry in this country outside of Bollywood, and what continues to get better and better is frankly the music, and it fits more and more into the global soundscape. And so what I mean by that is that with this marriage, we expect also the music of film to become better and better, and to become more and more, to find more and more global audiences for that repertoire. We do that today with the music that sits outside of Bollywood, and I think the key is to hopefully have that same global success with the music from the films of Bollywood. And so I think that's what we're hoping to see.
I think Adam's already said it, and to the member of the press who asked this, it's not that, sure, there are ebbs and curves, and sometimes you have more, sometimes you have less, but in the recent past, while Hanuman Kind's non-film big hip-hop song broke all the charts, I'd also like to mention that Sayara, 2 songs out of them, also similarly did those same numbers globally in the chartscape. Okay, it's not an Excel film, it's not a UMG soundtrack, but truth must be said. It got a number 4 position in the Spotify Global 200 and a number 7, I think, on the Billboard 100, which just goes to show that it's possible for non-Anglo music to be heard by that many people for it to be counted in the global scheme of things. So to Adam's point, to Farhan's point, our combined ambition is to make much more of that. Make much more of that available, make much more of that possible, And if that we are able to do with honesty, I think there will be more, there'll be a lot more music in film. And I think that's what we're all coming together to do, to make music the centerpiece of a lot of things in the future.
Like, just to add, I don't think I can agree that music is dead from our films, because the fact being that, just like the Chinese films had kung fu, we have our music, we express, like I said earlier, everything in our films through our music. Every emotion is expressed through it, even if it's anger, fear, happiness. We've seen it in enough number of films that somehow with music and the lyrics, it's all expressed. So I think this is only going to grow. It's not dead. And the good thing is that, like with Universal, what he's spoken about is also independent music, which is outside films, has an opportunity in the last few years to stand on its own. So I think they're both going to coexist, and it's wonderful.
All right, gentlemen, it's been a pretty exciting morning. It's been a huge moment for everyone. So thank you to Devraj, to Adam and the entire Universal Music family for believing that Indian creativity deserves global partnership. Of course, to Ritesh and Farhan and everyone at Excel for 25 years of showing us what's possible when you refuse to play it safe. We had our Honorable Chief Minister in attendance. We heard from him, Devendra Fadnavis ji, and of course, Shri Kaustubh Dhawse ji. I can say ji, not Devraj, right? And of course, the entire government for creating conditions where partnerships like this can thrive and flourish. And to everyone in this room taking time out, like I said right at the start, the first Monday of January, the first Monday of the year, your cinema lovers, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Thank you, Javed Saab. Thank you. And now from Excel Entertainment, of course, Ritesh, Farhan, Vishal Ramchandani, Kasim Jagmagia. From Universal Music Group, Mr. Devraj Sanyal, Sanujit Bayan, Adam Granite. The Honorable Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Shri Devendra Fadnavis ji. And also representing the government of Maharashtra, Mr. Kaustubh Dhawse. And now to join these wonderful gentlemen, some absolute champions who have worked tirelessly day and night to make sure that this union reaches fruition. I agree from Khaitan and Khaitan Company, if you could also join us. Kamal Yadav, Managing Director, Morgan Stanley. Mr. Bimal Parekh. Mr. Jaswant Singh Hinduja, CFO for Excel Entertainment. Amit Akaria, CFO for Universal Music Group. Mr. Veer Aljani, CRO for Universal Music Group. And someone who's been name dropped this morning, the one and only Zoya Akhtar. Please, yes ma'am. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for that photograph. Thank you for the picture. Of course, we're done with the formalities, but I came prepared. I have a few questions, and we're going to have a conversation with some of the most key members of this entire discussion. We'll give you a minute or two. Check your phones if you got your picture right, if the lighting is all right, because that conversation is something that you don't want to miss.
Honorable Chief Minister, Shri Devendra Fadnavis ji, respected partners, friends from the media, and my family, thank you for your presence. Ritesh and I stand here today, the year that our very first leap into the deep end of the filmmaking pool, Dil Chahta Hai, turns 25. We didn't know how big a splash it was going to make, but there really was nothing else that we wanted to do and nowhere else that we wanted to be. Telling stories, hopefully some of those being such that live on beyond theatrical experience in the collective consciousness of society, in the hearts of people, is something that we have always aspired to achieve. Cinema, after all, is an emotional experience. Before all the short breakdowns and location scouts, before structure, before scale, we are trying to capture a feeling, something that is true, that is of value to share. Music has always been central to that mission. It is the messenger that not only travels ahead, announcing of the story's arrival, and then seamlessly integrates into it, but it also lives on, quietly shaping how you remember the story and staying with you almost like a best friend, a voice to your celebrations and a shoulder to lean on in tough times. This is why the coming together of cinema and music at this moment feels significant and meaningful to us. Not as strategy, but as creative alignment, as an opportunity to honor the emotional core of storytelling while allowing it to travel further without losing its authenticity. Universal Music Group understands the power of music, not just as sound, but as feeling. Partnering with them is not about logistics and reach. It is about helping us to be better storytellers. It is about them helping us to find new pools that we can jump in together and take the first steps into. We have always believed that Indian stories do not need permission to exist globally. They do not need to be made more palatable or to be designed to fit any mold. They need to be truthful, and the people making them need to be brave. I am grateful to Ritesh, to our core team that is present here, to the writers, the directors, to the composers, the lyricists, the most prominent of whom is here with us today, my father Javed Akhtar. I am grateful to them all for being brave with us and for pushing us to be brave. You all made us better. And now with the added strength that we have received from Universal Music Group, we can further move the envelope by dreaming even bigger. This partnership is not about us having arrived. It is us having redefined the starting mark. Somebody famously said, "Draw the art you want to see. Start the business you want to run. Play the music you want to hear. Write the books you want to read. Do the work you want to see. Together we intend on doing just that. Thank you to my parents, my sister Zoya, my wife Shibani, my children Shakya and Akira for all the strength and joy that they have brought to my life. And thank you all once again for being here today. Thank you.
I have to speak in the end. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. The Honorable Chief Minister, Devendra Fadnavis ji, the partners, collaborators, friends from the media, and my family. My dad is 92 and I brought him out here today. So thank you. Today is an important milestone in our journey at Excel. It means a great, great deal to all of us here. 25 years ago, Farhan and me started with Excel with this film, Dil Chahta Hai, with a simple dream to tell honest, ambitious stories, which, just didn't entertain audience, but stayed with them, sparked meaningful conversations. What guided us then was instinct. We learned by doing, by listening, and by staying close to stories we wanted to tell. A shared sensibility and trust in each other became the foundation of everything we built. Over the years, Excel grew steadily through films, through music, people who came in and built this journey along with us. At Excel, we've always believed that when a story is deeply local, it becomes universal. And today that seems absolutely true with the Universal Group. So, and music just lives deep within our culture, in our stories. It's how we express our emotions, celebrate how we grieve, how we fall in love, and how we remember. With UMG's global footprint and deep understanding of music, we have the opportunity of taking our culture, our music, and our films to audiences around the world, and to bring global perspective back home here in India. None of this would be possible without our team at Excel, our collaborators, Javed Uncle, Zoya, who are here, our partners who have shared this journey with us and believed in through change and reinvention. And before I end, I just want to thank my father again, my wife Dolly, my kids Arav and Nirvan, in always being patient and being through this journey with us. So thank you. And now, at the end, I would like to definitely invite on stage the Honorable Chief Minister to come in and say a few words. Devraj, please come up. Thank you.
Good morning, Devraj and Adam from UMG, Ritesh and Farhan from Excel, distinguished leaders from the UMG and Excel Entertainment, creators, artists, industry leaders, members of the media, and special mention Javed Akhtar ji. Ladies and gentlemen, what we witnessed a few moments ago as an announcement is actually a statement of confidence. Confidence in India, confidence in Maharashtra, and very specifically in Mumbai, a city whose roads are not just paved by gold dust, but also by the star dust. Despite a very demanding public schedule today, I felt it was important to be present here because movements like these define the future direction of an economy. They tell us where the world is placing its bets. And today, the bet is clearly on Mumbai. the partnership between Universal Music Group and Excel Entertainment is significant because of the iconic names involved and what it represents. A global leader in music and intellectual property choosing to deepen its engagement in India through a creator-led homegrown studio based in Mumbai sends a very powerful signal that India's creative economy has come of age, that our talent is global ready, and that Mumbai is no longer just participating in the global media ecosystem, it is shaping it. This is not one-off deal. It is part of a much larger story unfolding before us. Mumbai has always been India's creative heartbeat. The city has the highest concentration of creative talent in the country, the deepest pool of risk capital for content, world-class studios, production houses, and post-production capabilities. A culture that embraces reinvention from films to music, from television to OTT, from creators to gaming. Most importantly, Mumbai understands one thing better than most of the cities in the world: creativity is an industry. And in the words of Martin Scorsese, the most personal is the most creative. Today, this win is very personal for me and for the vibrant city of Mumbai. An industry that generates jobs, exports culture, builds global influence, and creates intellectual property that travels across borders. What is changing today is scale and ambition. The global media and entertainment industry is undergoing a fundamental shift. Content is becoming borderless. Platforms are global. Audiences are everywhere. And intellectual property is the most valuable asset of the future. Global companies today look for 5 things when choosing where to invest: talent, policy stability, respect for IP, speed of execution, and a complete ecosystem. Mumbai and Maharashtra offers all 5. That is why we are seeing sustained global interest across music, films, OTT, gaming, AVGC, and the creators' economy. Let me be very clear, the role of government in this sector is to enable creativity. Our focus is on predictable and progressive policies, world-class infrastructure, ease of doing business, skill development for the next generation of creators, and strong institutional support for intellectual property. When global companies partner with Indian creators, and when that collaboration is anchored in Mumbai, it creates a virtuous cycle. Talent attracts capital, capital attracts platforms, platforms attract the world. Today's announcement sends a clear message to the global media and entertainment industry. If you want to understand the future of content, if you want to partner with the next generation of storytellers, if you want to build intellectual property that resonates across cultures, Mumbai is where you belong. This city does not just produce content, it produces culture, and culture, as we all know, is the most powerful soft power a nation can have. Inspired by the leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, who gave us a mission by putting together the Waves Summit last year, where the seeds of this transaction were sown. Today is the first big global deal of this sector, and I am delighted that Mumbai has been chosen for the same. I congratulate Universal Music Group, and Excel Entertainment on this landmark partnership. I also congratulate the entire creative community of Mumbai because this movement belongs to you. Mumbai has always told India stories. Now it is ready to help tell the world stories. Before I end, the film and music buff in me has carved out a line from Dil Chahta Hai to Gully Boy, from iconic stories to iconic sound. Mumbai is where India's emotion find a global voice. To India, to Maharashtra, to Mumbai, we have arrived. Apna time aa gaya hai. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Maharashtra.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chief Minister, for your continued vision, your continued support for Maharashtra's role as a cultural and creative powerhouse.
Honorable CM Sir, Devendra Fadnavis ji, respected guests and members of the media. I have a lot of friends in the room. Thank you for coming. This is probably not just the first press conference of the music business in the country. It arguably is the first press conference of the year. I don't think there have been any before this. So thank you, everyone. When I joined the group almost 15 years ago, the ambition was quite simple. But the ambition was large and our mandate quite simple. To build a music-led company, brick by brick, without shortcuts, without hurry. And that's exactly what we did. Slowly, thoughtfully, one step at a time. I've been fortunate to work with multiple managers and leadership teams over the years, each of whom guided, supported, challenged, and trusted me, making this journey quite long, but enriching and deeply encouraging. When we began, at least for me 15 years ago, we had a very strong international music business and a world-class domestic film music catalog. You'll remember, Javed Saab is here, Sholay, movies like that that defined cinematic history in our country. Well, what we didn't have was a meaningful domestic independent music play, almost nothing. So we started building. As the years went by, it became very clear that film music dominated the charts, but listening habits across the country in domestic, non-film music remained very fragmented. There were sporadic successes, there were viral moments, but no one was putting any sustained focus from any quarter. So the gap between film and this other side was palpable, and that's where we saw our biggest opportunity. So over 8 years ago, my boss who's here, Adam, and I set out to build a domestic music business in everything that didn't belong to film, in every language, every genre, from hip hop to indie, rock, from Hindi, Tamil, Marathi, Malayalam, Haryanvi, whatever, it didn't matter, as long as the artist and the artistry was in the center of everything we did. So we went on, one song at a time, one artist at a time, one label at a time. And today I can tell you with great pride that what we've built is nothing short of extraordinary. We are the unquestioned market leaders in this segment, both domestically, as well as what we've achieved with our artists here and in the diaspora globally. Our track record speaks for itself. Given the depth of our artist-first orientation, we also expanded naturally into talent management, adding companies like TMV, which is India's largest music management company, to our portfolio, and giving us the most diverse artist roster this country has ever seen, from Arijit Singh to an unknown indie artist in some corner of the country. But once we achieved real chart performance, we saw what we always knew was coming. Audio and video streaming was scaling up and laying the foundation through paid subscriptions for the arrival of a very real incoming subscription economy. And to thrive there, we knew that we had to become a full-stack music company. That meant for us, after being in the film business for a long time, to rethink coming back into that business. So after 25 long years, we re-entered the film business. We partnered with companies like Z Music. We worked closely with our good friend Dinesh Vijayan and Maddox Films, both in long-term strategic partnerships. But we knew that the real leap would come from partnering at the very source: creation, storytelling, and production. And that's what we've been working on for the greater part of last year. This move doesn't just strengthen our presence in film music. It cements our place in the business of film itself. It allows us to cross-pollinate artists from every region, language, and genre into truly mass, pan-India diaspora storytelling. And truly, all of this, none of this would happen if it wasn't without some key people sitting here. The government of Maharashtra, led by our Honorable CM Devendra Fadnavis ji, Chief of Staff and Head of Investment and Strategic Advisor to the government, Kaustuv Davze. I want to say G, but I won't. Without these two guys, I can tell you we would not be standing here today. It's been a very long and difficult, almost 11 months getting here, and these guys have stood firm every single day, helping us, coming together, rallying for us, so that the largest deal of its kind in its genre and size and specificity could be under the aegis of Devenji and be counted in the FDI of Maharashtra. I'm incredibly proud of what you're about to see. So with that, I'm going to play you a small film, which I think is self-explanatory, not that you need it, everyone knows why you're here. And then I'll hand over to my boss and CEO of our Africa, Middle East, and Asia businesses of Universal Music Group, Adam Granite, who will take you through what comes next. Thank you, and God bless.
ऊपर 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 3 2 1 स्माइल ऑल ऑफ यू इधर मैं ऐसे बोलता हूँ कहाँ तक जानी चाहिए सर इधर गाली मत दे मैं चिल्लाऊं होते हुए इधर
जाफर भाई